Hey friends, it's Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, and I'm coming to you from my car because this is the quietest place I could find to make this video. And I just wanted to take a quick minute to kind of update you on what's happening in our lives here and why I've kind of been absent on YouTube, because since the beginning of August, I've been pretty consistently putting a video out every Sunday and then sometimes trying to put one out on Thursday. And then all of a sudden I just dropped off the face of the earth. And I actually had a few people create accounts on Instagram and contact me and say they were worried. And so I guess I just wanted to, I don't want anybody to worry because I might not be able to make content here for a little while longer. And so let me update you on our situation, and hopefully I can make it through this video without getting emotional, but I can't promise anything, so please bear with me. Some of you are very observant and in the comments had already guessed this a while ago, but toward the end of August we found out we were pregnant and expecting what would have been our 8th child. Technically our 9th, because we had a loss between Elizabeth and Levi about 6 or 7 years ago. And we were just elated when we found out we were pregnant. The children were really wanting another sibling. The girls especially were just pulling for a baby sister. So the children were very excited, and as were Adam and I, and children are a blessing. And it kind of took us by surprise because Benji is still nursing through the night quite frequently, and that typically prevents me from having another baby, but I got pregnant. And so we, things were going great all through September. My pregnancy was progressing very normally. I had the normal fatigue and nausea right on track. My nausea never went away up until the end of the pregnancy, and I just never thought that anything was wrong. And then last week, about a week and a half ago almost, I was 10.5 weeks pregnant and suddenly began bleeding. And having been through a miscarriage before, I knew what was happening when it started. And so we just decided to wait it out at home and be patient and wait for what was inevitably going to happen. And so I was bleeding off and on for 7 or 8 days and nothing was happening. So we were still kind of, preparing for the worst, but holding out hope. And so when nothing was progressing like it did with my last miscarriage, we decided this past Monday, which would be 2 days ago, to go get an ultrasound just to confirm and make sure that maybe something else wasn't going on. And so I went to the ultrasound, and we discovered that my baby had stopped growing back in September. And so I was 11.5 weeks along at this point, and went home. And it's crazy because the mind is so powerful. It truly is. That I think holding out that little bit of hope was preventing my body from letting go. But I got home from the ultrasound, and as soon as I got home, I began miscarrying. And I delivered our baby that we named Selah. And yeah, so it's a tragic loss, and we have grieved. We began grieving when the bleeding started and had a week to sort of prepare ourselves for what we thought was happening. And so, we're doing better now. And obviously a loss like this is tremendous. It's awful. But the Lord has been merciful to us in so many ways. As I mentioned, I've gone through this process before, and the last time was extremely traumatic, physically and emotionally for me. And that was mostly due to not being prepared for what was going to happen. And I feel like this time I was more prepared because I'd been through it before. And so physically it was a lot easier on me, and emotionally it was easier. God was merciful in that with my last experience, all of the medical professionals that I dealt with throughout the miscarriage were very uncompassionate and unkind, I felt. And this time the ultrasound tech was literally an answered prayer. She was one of the kindest human beings I think I've ever met. And she just helped me get through it. And at one point I was crying when she was doing the ultrasound, and she asked if I was okay, and I was like, I'm not crying out of grief. I'm all cried out. I can't cry from that anymore, because I'd been crying for a week at that point. I told her I was crying at that moment because she was just so kind, and I wasn't expecting it, and it was just such a mercy. And other mercies were there. I had a dream probably 2 days after the bleeding began. I dreamed that I delivered this little baby that obviously couldn't survive without me. And so I had this like kangaroo pocket right over my heart that I kind of tucked my baby in. And I was able to watch the baby grow. And it was full term eventually. And I looked down, and it had this thick head of black hair like Gabriel. And it had these bright blue eyes and a face very similar to Levi. And that image, I feel like, was a godsend, and I will carry it with me. It's such a comfort. So, despite the loss, like I said, the Lord has been so kind to our family. He allowed me to go through the miscarriage at home without the need for medical intervention that I really feared. And so despite it all, we are just grateful. He's good no matter what, and sometimes we don't understand his plan, but we trust it, and he knows what's best for our family, and he will carry us through it, and we cling to that hope. I feel like it's very important to talk about miscarriage. I feel like it's something that women are scared to talk about or uncomfortable to talk about, and for so long it has been kind of this secret that women are forced to kind of stuff down and grieve by themselves, and it's just so lonely, and it's a pain that you shouldn't have to endure alone. And so I was very open in documenting my entire experience on Instagram, and if you wanted to learn more about that, you can check it out there. I hope that it can encourage someone who may be going through this, or who knows someone who's going through this and doesn't know how quite to best support them. The more we talk about it, the more people are better able to support other women who shouldn't have to go through this alone. And I'm so grateful that I didn't have to go through it alone, because I had so many women through social media that were praying for me and sharing their stories and sharing their encouragement and clinging to hope with me. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful display of the hands and feet of Jesus just being loved to me. Okay, so I don't want to ramble on forever, although I could talk about this topic for a really long time, but maybe that's for another day. I just wanted to update you guys so you don't worry. I do need to pour myself into my family right now to help them heal and grieve. Not only are we dealing with the physical and the emotional loss, but we also, this all began, I got pregnant right at the end of canning season and was dealing with first trimester issues and fatigue all through September and October, and then dealing with the miscarriage for about a week and a half now. Our lives are completely disrupted, and our off routine in the house is a disaster. So it's going to take us a little time to just kind of get things back together, and I don't really feel like I can commit to making content until my family is in a good place, and I know you guys understand that, so just be patient with me. And as soon as I get back to it, right before this had happened, I had received a freeze dryer and was so excited to create these videos for you. I have so many ideas for projects for that, and so that'll be coming up just as soon as I can. And I wanted to do an updated pantry tour and freezer tour now that the harvest season is over, minus a little bit of poultry that I still need to process. But for the most part, I've squirreled away everything I want for winter, and would really like to share that with you guys. And then I had a couple of requests to do an updated day in the life video, because I haven't done that since last January. So that's on the agenda just as soon as I can. So I guess until then, I hope you guys are all blessed, and I thank you for all of your prayers, and Lord willing, I'll be back very soon. All right, thank you.